What is that?
Yeah, it's a World Cup holder.
Like the soccer tournament World Cup?
Holder. For the world. Fits every car, holds every cup.
It has a Carvana logo?
Yeah, Carvana made it. They buy and sell cars, so they made a car cup holder. So, got any good cups lately?
I used to, just couldn't figure out where in the world to put them.
The World Cup holder, brought to you by Carvana, proud sponsors of the World Cup holder.
Sign up today to win yours at cup-holder2026.com. Not authorized or endorsed by FIFA. Not a real product. For parody and fair use purposes only.
So good, so good, so good.
New markdowns up to 70% off are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. Stock up and save big on shoes, tops, dresses, accessories, and more must-haves for summer. Join the Nordy Club to unlock exclusive discounts, shop new arrivals first, and more. Plus, buy online and pick up at your favorite Rack store for free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
So you're saying with Hilton Honors, I can use points for a free night stay anywhere?
Anywhere.
What about fancy places like the Canopy in Paris?
Yeah, Hilton Honors, baby.
Or relaxing sanctuaries like the Conrad in Tulum?
Hilton Honors, baby.
Ooh, what about the 5-star Waldorf Astoria in the Maldives?
Are you gonna do this for all 9,000 properties?
When you want points that can take you anywhere, anytime, it matters where you stay. Hilton for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Google Chrome. You think you know a browser, but Gemini and Chrome? That's new. It can help you with practically anything on the web, like restoring a vintage motorcycle from a 50-page restoration blog, or finally break down that long article you've had open for weeks. Gemini and Chrome is here for it. Ready to make anything online make sense? There's no place like Chrome. Check responses, setup required, compatibility and availability varies, 18+.
Hi, Diva. It's Rachel.
And Jordan. Yeah, hi. Quick question.
Why are you not spending your Venmo balance?
Yeah, we're concerned.
You can, buy stuff with it.
Ugh, you love buying stuff.
And earn cash back on eligible purchases.
You love purchasing eligible things.
So the money your friend sent you yesterday, that's today's ramen, or rideshare, or eye patches.
The skincare kind, not the pyro kind.
Spend with Venmo. Then you can earn cash back with Venmo Stash. Venmo Stash bundle terms and exclusions apply. Max $100 cash back per month. See terms at venmo.me/stash terms. ID verification required to use a Venmo balance.
The comments made by Amin Elhassan are made by him and him himself and nobody else, and not indicative of Basketball Illuminati, Tom Haberstroh, Anthony Mays, or any guest incorporated.
So Luka to the Lakers we called. I don't think we can top that, right?
Top that!
There's nothing we can do to top the Lakers getting Luka Doncic. We called months before it happened here on this program. Is there anything else that we foresaw?
We didn't foresee it, but we did talk about it, right? Because it happened, and then we talked about it years later, which is the Camden Connection. Basically how the Knicks were built through a friendship that was forged decades ago in southern New Jersey / Philadelphia. A clip of ours, I think, is one of our most viral clips in terms of getting shared. I know it was viral because Rick Brunson came up to me and expressed great delight, but also corrected me on, that's not how it happened. It actually happened this way, and I came from here, and da-da-da. But he's like, you got most of it right. So I won't claim this one. We didn't predict anything. We just followed a thread that had already been unspooled before us.
You know what my favorite part of that, though, is that our video that went viral had no ending to it. It was cut off.
Yeah.
It didn't have a conclusion. It didn't capture the full segment.
First 90 seconds.
So people loved that clip, but it was aborted halfway through.
Wow. Did not know that. Well, I'm sure they all followed it and went to the full episode and listened to the whole thing. Download, like, subscribe, shared, rated, reviewed.
That's how clips work.
That's how clips work.
I'm super familiar.
That's how the economy works, folks.
I think the Camden Connection itself, the original tale, is a perfect encapsulation of the networking aspect of the NBA, how relationships forged 30, 40 years ago can play out a string with someone's child becoming the savior of a team.
It is wild.
You want to hear the most nuts part is if we went back in time 15, 20 years ago and we said, look, these guys, because they know each other, they're going to end up here in New York and they're going to build a champion based off of the son of a player that they're very familiar with. You know how many people are like, I know exactly who it's going to be. It's going to be DeJuan Wagner, Milt Wagner's son. Well, no, not DeJuan.
No.
Because DeJuan gets sick and all that. And then we fast forward like 15 years, like, okay, oh, I know exactly who it's going to be. It's going to be DeJuan Wagner Jr. Any moment now, he'll get in the league. And then that's the number of people, the list we would have gone through before we got to Jalen Brunson is so ridiculous. And it also got me to a point, I don't know if you guys experienced this, but as I'm watching Jalen Brunson be amazing in the fourth quarter, game 5, I'm looking at him specifically after the play where he ISOs against Wemby and scores on him. This guy is like my height. He's got short arms and short legs. Not necessarily very explosive, even in terms of quickness. Rick was the same thing, except bigger and long arms. Is there a world where Rick could have been this good?
No.
Yeah, but Rick wasn't a player of the year at Villanova.
Rick didn't grow up with Rick as his dad.
Exactly. That's what I think about. It's like, what if Rick could go back in time and be his own mentor?
I will be my father's body.
But like,
yeah, I get it. Looper.
To train himself and everything that he put Jalen through.
But this is something that we talk about. We talked about it with Steph. The role player father.
Right.
Leading to the superstar son.
Right.
Even if Rick was better, are we getting this version of Jalen Brunson?
There's a part of the butterfly effect that Rick needed to be a guy who was day-to-day, 10 days and minimums and stuff.
He needed to be the stepping stone.
Because even Jalen talks about, I remember my father being...
non-guaranteed contracts.
If he was getting max deals everywhere, that speech doesn't land as well if he's like, I know what grinding really is. I know what pressure really is because my dad signed 3 max deals in the NBA. He can't use that speech, and he doesn't have the same sort of motivation. He doesn't have the same sort of core story.
By the way, I'm watching France-Senegal, and they just showed Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Miles McBride all sitting there watching the game. How about that?
How's OG's level of engagement?
He looks the same as he did on GMX, just with sunglasses on.
That's better.
Yeah, that was his biggest mistake.
He should have worn sunglasses.
I have a friend of mine who does not watch sports. She reached out to me, sent me the clip, and said, "What's this guy's deal?" Well, he's usually a guy who's very unflustered and very even-keeled, even in the most amazing emotional moments. She said, "Well, he looks very flustered here." Like, nope, he's just high.
OG Kush?
He's just really, really, really high.
How did Oakley, Ray-Ban, how did they not come in with the sponsorship deal for the post-championship sponsorship for all the sunglasses for all these guys? It's such an opportunity.
Too busy with Jaylen Brown.
The goggles is always the one I'm surprised about. You would think that someone would come in, I'm the official goggles of the NBA champion, or of every champion.
The Thunder killed it. The fact they didn't know how to spray bottles.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. The Knicks knew it. Absolutely. They knew their way around some bottles. Except for Huck Porty, who was walking around with beer. Me and Zach were like, does he not know that you drink that one? The other one is the one you come out with.
I love the narratives. I love the Camden Connection. I love Jalen Brunson. I love the Nova Knicks. I think there's so many fun aspects of this championship story, but I think one of the crazier parts is the people that they had to make tough decisions about along the way. The Dante DiVincenzo's, the Tom Thibodeau's.
Right.
Tom Thibodeau was as ingrained in the Camden Connection as anyone, and they had to make the decision to go a different direction with a coach, which clearly paid off.
How about Calipari being the one guy that got camera time after Game 4?
How about Calipari being there for De'Aaron Fox?
Yeah, that's funny. Every college coach who was college coaching was there. My man Tom Crean was there. Jay Wright was there. Coaches upon coaches upon coaches. If you coached anybody, any one of these guys, you were there for sure. But I actually talked to Taj Gibson on Sunday. We talked about Tibbs, and he said, yeah, I talked to Tibbs. And he said Tibbs was over the moon. He was so happy and ecstatic for those guys. You know, Taj obviously was there the beginning of the hard times that Tibbs was pulling them out of. And then they went to where they went. And I can't help, when you talk about the Camden Connection, there's another connection, albeit it's a lot more ephemeral, if you will. There is a pop connection. Because Mike Brown did what Steve Kerr did to Mark Jackson, in essence, 10, 11 years ago in Golden State.
It's true.
The idea that, hey, there was a guy, and he built up this whole thing, and then he took him to a certain point, and a lot of people were like, wait a second, why are we getting rid of this guy? Wait a second, why are we getting this guy? But this guy comes in with a completely different frame of mind, and it turns out that's the necessary piece to get over the top to win the championship. Steve Kerr did that, and Mike Brown did that.
Because Steve won in his first year with the team as well, right?
Yes, he did. But if you go further back, guys, Greg Popovich did the same thing.
What?
The most opportunistic of them all is Greg Popovich.
Because you know what Greg Popovich did? He had Bob Hill.
He was in the front office.
He was the GM. He fires Bob Hill. He comes downstairs. And he doesn't leave for another 18 years or whatever, 17 years. So they all learned. The others, they learned from me, to quote one Greg Cody, this idea of people building up to a point. And then someone says, I'll take it from here. It reminds me, Maze, I know you're a big Simpsons fan, when our guy Gil was selling cars and he almost had his first sale.
I'll take it from here, Gil. No, wait. No, you can't take my sale. My wife's going to leave me if I don't start bringing in the green. Come on, let me have this one, Stan. I'm begging you. Look at me. I'm begging you, Stan. Let's go write this up, shall we?
And he goes and he finishes the sale off.
Can I give you one more?
Sure.
Jason Kidd in Milwaukee. Who comes in?
Bud.
Mike Budenholzer.
What's he do? To the moon.
Man.
There's a pattern.
What would be the papacy?
I like the papacy. The papacy.
Papacy.
Instead of prophecy?
Well.
Papacy?
The Popclave. If smoke rises from the Spurs front office this summer, Mitch Johnson, watch your back.
Do we have any others?
All we need to do is look out for any team that fired its coach and hired Chicago, Tiago Splitter.
Oh, wow.
You're on the board.
Hey, are you predicting a Chicago Bulls dynasty right now?
You heard it here first.
Where does Ime Udoka fit into this? Because you would think that in Boston and in Houston, by the papacy, that he would be.
But Ime didn't take over. See, and that's why Tiago doesn't fit either. You have to take over for something that's already been built.
Yeah. You're
You're not building your own shit. Tiago's going to have to build his own shit.
You're just putting the roof on the house and then selling it. Yeah.
You got to come in at the end of the thing and hammer in that last nail and say, I'm here.
I mean, Ime got popped.
Yeah, he got papacied.
So does this mean that Mitch Johnson should be watching out for Greg Popovich himself?
That's what I said.
Run it back.
If smoke rises from the Spurs offices.
By the way, to hear them tell it, that motherfucker's coaching that shit anyway. He's in film sessions. He's talking to guys in between games, after games and shit. I'm like, is this guy, does he still want to coach?
The odds, maybe the betting markets know the reason why the Knicks aren't the favorites next year. Maybe they know something about Pop.
My assignment: uncover why the association inspires more conspiracy theories in volume and salience than any other U.S. sport.
So you've heard of the Illuminati.
The truth is out there, but so are lies.
Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them.
The NBA has always been controlled by about 8 people.
Denial is the most predictable of all human responses.
If you're only using 10% of your brain, you don't even know that you're using 10% of your brain.
The NBA Illuminati.
If coincidences are just coincidences, why do they feel so contrived?
The Illuminati.
But you start to follow the money, and you don't know where the f*** it's going to take you.
It is unspoken. They have influence among other players.
The NBA Illuminati.
I don't have time for your convenient ignorance.
Maybe I'm a conspiracist now as well.
That's all it took. Oh, we got books, we got schools. You saw a video on YouTube.
Why my eyes, sir? You've never used them before.
We are the basketball Illuminati.
This is Basketball Illuminati. I am Tom Haberstroh, the Dr. Tom Haberstroh. Got to sneak that in there. And as always, I'm joined by the 5-star Illumin Army generals and Pulitzer Prize winning Amin Elhassan and Anthony Mays.
What's up, Illumination? Thank you for keeping your third eye open. As always, you can support us at patreon.com/countthedings. That'll get you ad-free episodes and help us continue to produce the show. Also, check out our YouTube page at Basketball Illuminati. You can watch our Truth Teller interviews and Do You Believe episodes there. Please subscribe and continue to show your support. Thank you.
The Athletic's Fred Katz going to join us. Amazing stories here. Fred Katz, who's writing a book right now about the New York Knicks' rise from the ashes into a championship team called Under the Bright Lights. You can find him at Katz and Shoot, his podcast, and at The Athletic. Fred Katz joining us as a truth teller.
Listener, you've got places to be. Let's say your hair's thinning up top. You have time to go to Turkey and sit in a waiting room for some hair loss treatment? Of course not. Hims makes expert care accessible on your schedule so you can skip the line and focus on feeling like yourself again. Hims offers convenient access to a range of prescription hair loss treatments with ingredients that actually work. There's an idea, including chews, oral medications, serums, and sprays, whichever you think is best. Doctor-trusted ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil can stop further hair loss and regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hims brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. You can find the right treatment for you to regrow your hair with flexible subscription options, access to 24/7 provider support, and once-a-day treatment options that fit your daily routine. For simple online access to personalized and affordable care for hair loss, ED, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/basketball. That's hims.com/basketball for your free online visit. hims.com/basketball. Featured products include compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. See website for full details, restrictions, and important safety information. Individual results may vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride.
Hello, listener. It's Producer Maze here to talk to you about Chime. You know what shouldn't cost money? Managing your money. Chime is changing the way people bank. It's not one of those traditional old banks that charge you overdraft fees and monthly fees. This is fee-free banking built for you. They have thousands of fee-free ATMs so you can get your money for free. And it gets better because Chime members can benefit from up to $1,150 in annual rewards. Now check out some of these benefits. You get 5% cash back on Chime Card in a category of your choice, like gas or groceries, whatever you're using the most. You get savings that grow faster with a 3.75% APY. That's 9 times higher than the national average. You can even get $500 of your pay with MyPay. They also have Spot Me, which lets you overdraft up to $200 fee-free, all of which make it so much easier to manage your money. Chime is not just smarter banking, it's the most rewarding way to bank. Join the millions who are already banking fee-free today. Head to chime.com/basketball. That's chime.com/basketball. It only takes a few minutes to sign up.
Chime is a fintech, not a bank. Banking services from MyPay and Chime Card provided by Chime's bank partners. Optional products and services may have fees or charges. Stated annual percentage yield and cashback for Chime Prime only. No minimum balance required. Checking account ranking based on a JD Power survey published October 20, 2025. For more information on APY rates, MyPay, Spot Me, and travel perks, go to chime.com/disclosures.
Bonjour, compadre. It's the
Priceline Negotiator.
How do I negotiate so many great travel deals? My greatest gadget, the Priceline app. It's got hotel deals, flight deals, rental car deals, all of those deals in a bundle. Deals, game day deals, concert trip deals. No one deals more deals than Priceline. Hold your horses, there's more. The app lets you filter hotels by neighborhood, vibe, star level, and amenities like pools and spas and beachfronts and... Wait, I'm not done. Stop cutting me off.
Priceline.
You all think I'm late. Well, I'm not late. And I'm gonna stay right here and fight for this lost cause. Even if this room gets filled with lies like these. And the tailors and all their armies come marching into this place. Somebody will listen to me.
There's no better way to overpower a trickle of doubt than with a flood of naked truth.
But the complexity and the gray lie not in the truth, but what you do with the truth once you have it.
What is true and right is true and right for all.
You and I both know that that's just not the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Too messy. Keeps them up nights.
I'm here because in the end, the truth is worth the risk.
Speak a little truth and people lose their minds.
I'm a grown man, you can tell me the truth.
Why is it people who want the truth never believe it when they hear it?
So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something really outrageous. I'm going to tell the truth.
Hey, Fred. So a lot of people are making the connection, the Camden Connection, which we've talked about on this show repeatedly. You know, Leon Rose, the World Wide West, CAA connection. But I think what people are missing is the connection between your father's penis and a urinal is really the reason why the Knicks won the championship. And Fred, this is one of the greatest pieces of journalism I've ever seen, is that you sat there, Fred, and said, I got to come up with a column to capture the Knicks 53 years. What am I going to write about? You've been covering this team, the league. You have a podcast about this team and the league. And when the crowning moment happened, when 53 years, the streak ends, you said, you know what? I am going to write about my dad and how he refused to sit anywhere else in the house to watch the Knicks. And he was so dedicated to this cause that he got one of those portable urinals so that he could pee on the couch.
Well, not on the couch.
Putting the P in MVP. Is what he was doing.
You the real MVP.
Most valuable pisser.
That's what he was doing. I mean, look, I very intentionally did. So I read that story to my dad before I told my editors that I was going to file it, because I didn't want to actually, I wanted to make fun of him, but I didn't want to actually embarrass him. And I knew he would be fine with it, because I don't think my dad is capable of feeling embarrassment. I've never actually seen him embarrassed for anything, because he's so just unaware. And now it's hilarious because he had no problem with it. I intentionally did not tell my mom, my brother, that was going to be the story. I was like, you just have to read my story off the Knicks winning, and thinking that I would, they would go into it thinking that it would just be like some opus about my time covering the Knicks. And instead it was about my dad's portable urinal. And they loved it. I really just wrote it for them. And then it turns out that like a lot of people read it. And now I feel like my dad is just like needs an endorsement with some sort of hospital supply company. Yes. Like, this is good for people who didn't just come out of surgery. This is also good for people who have problems.
Let's take a step back before the piece gets published. Before you even decide to write about the piece. Your mom clearly knows that your father...
No, my parents are divorced. My mom's got no idea. My parents are divorced.
Got it.
So I was like, can't imagine why.
This Amazon package is here.
Wait, so like you're hearing this story for the first, like, how does your dad tell you about this? Or did you witness this? No, you were at the game, so you wouldn't have known this.
Yeah, no, my dad told me he was going to do it. I actually wrote that column before they won. I wrote it the morning of, and we were going to run it if and whenever they ran, and I wrote that before they won, and I knew I was going to write it. My dad told me he was doing it. I, checked back in with him. We texted during the game. He actually told me not only did he have the portable urinal out, he put out the portable urinal on Saturday morning on the table next to his chair, just so he knew it would be there. Just so he knew he wouldn't forget it once he sat down. Because if he sits down...
Last minute scrambles, yeah.
Exactly. If he sits down, he's like, oh, no, I can't get up. Like, he's stuck, So,
is your father,
so he was prepared.
Is your father alone? Is there anyone else in the house?
Oh, yeah. Is he alone? Please. You think he's doing that with other people? You think other people are willingly joining in on such behavior?
I don't even know that such behavior is happening, let alone are other people joining in on it. So yeah, I feel like everything's on the table at that point.
Yes, everything's on the table, including the portable urinal. Yeah. Yes, to be clear, I have the best dad in the entire world. I love my dad the most. He's the best dad of all time. He's a unique character. He's a unique human being.
You're thinking about this like I think I'm gonna write. There's so many times as a writer, podcaster, Pulitzer Prize winning podcaster that we have on our hands here, that you come up with an idea and you're like, I don't know if my boss is going to go for that. I don't know if my editor producer is going to go for that. This one, did you know this was it? Like you're like, oh yeah, they're going to love this.
Didn't even cross my mind. Because I'm my father's son, and I guess I don't really have any shame either. Yeah. It didn't even cross my mind, to be honest. They were like, we obviously need a big story pre-written to go when the Knicks win, or if the Knicks win, and that's the way it works. And so I was thinking about all these angles, and I had done how the Knicks got here, because when they won the Eastern Conference Finals, I did a similar thing where I spent like the 2 or 3 days leading up to that game working on, because they're up 3-0. You know they're going to win that series. Like they're up 3-0, especially once they won game 1 against Cleveland. It's like they're obviously winning this series. They're playing incredible basketball. So I really started working on reporting out a big story for that on like, okay, how did the Knicks, this team that struggled for 20 years and lived at the bottom for 20 years and was famous for all of their bad decisions, how did this organization turn itself around? And that was when I put together the big reported story on times where they refused to trade first round picks, behind the scenes stories of certain executives and how committed they were to asset gathering and how committed they were to certain players and behind the scenes stories of things that had happened that just never would have happened with the old Knicks, right? And how this was not just the Knicks were not just the same old Knicks, not just because they were winning. They weren't the same old Knicks because of the way they operate. Now, this front office is completely different than any other front office that has preceded it over the last 20 some odd years in New York. And that was the story. And that was my big thing. And I was like, I was like, I want to do this. I was talking to my editor. He's like, you kind of already did that. And my editor, I was like, yeah, you're right. I did kind of already do that. Yeah. He was like, how would you make it different? And I like tried to convince him and also try to convince myself as to how I would make it different. Didn't really think of a way to make it different. And then he said to me, he was like, we need like, there's something to be done on just like capturing the absolute mania that's in New York. Like this is not happening. And quite frankly, when I hear suggestions about fan stories, my initial reaction, and my editor knows this, my initial reaction is like, I don't know, man, I'm so much more interested in the pick and roll coverages. I'm so much more interested in the nitty gritty front office stuff and the reporting and like the people that I cover and everything else. And then I started to brainstorm and I was like, my dad told me he was doing that. And I was like,
that's it.
Huh. I never write personal things. I never write personal stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? Let's give a nod to Ray. Let's give a nod to my dad. Why not? Let's write. So I just kind of wrote it and I filed it. And I thought it was pretty funny because to me, it wasn't necessarily about my dad. My dad was like a central, compelling character to explain how, because my dad's not a diehard Knicks fan.
Right.
That's what I was going to. That's what I was going to ask. What was the most kind of egregious example of him exercising his fandom prior to the I'm not getting up, so I need a portable urinal?
With the Knicks, like there wasn't really one. Like my dad is not a diehard Knicks fan at all. But over the last 3 months or so,
he's just went from like casually like watching the games to like, oh wait, they need me.
No, I don't even think he was. I mean,
he wasn't casually watching.
Yeah, I think Fred, when I read this story, it seemed like to me that the story is the Knicks were so captivating and so just amazing story of this basketball team that for so long had been a beacon of futility. They were so easy to root for that a guy who never roots for the Knicks and the whole city's getting behind this team went from 0 to 100 in a matter of days.
So let me reframe the question. Had this Knicks team been as successful, but not quite as likable, do you think it has the same sort of effect on the city and on your father specifically?
I think the city would be going nuts no matter what if the team won a title. But I think the fact that it was this group that won a title definitely made all this stuff go through the roof. I think the fact that it was Jalen Brunson, New Yorkers love just like a gritty underdog sort of thing. And all of these guys had been pushed out at some point.
Castaways. They were all castaways.
Yeah, all of them were castaways. Even Kat, who's a six-time All-Star and first-time MVP and six-time All-Star and number 1 overall pick and all that. Like, even Kat, who was like, Minnesota was like, contract's too big, not worth paying that amount of money.
We'll keep Rudy Gobert.
Right. We'll keep Rudy Gobert. Yeah. I mean, it's a lesser degree than, say, Jalen Brunson, who was a second-round pick and whatever else. Right. But, like, a lot of these guys had people who gave up on them at some point in their careers. And I think that really sticks with New York, to be honest. Like, yes, there is this glitziness to watching games at MSG with the celebrities and with Chalamet and with Stiller and with, name the whole list, Tracy Morgan and everybody else. And there is this absolute like glitziness and all of that. That's not really the personality of New York as a city, though. And it's not really the personality of the Knicks fan base, because they feel like they are downtrodden. They are abused by this team for 53 years, right? Even when they're good in the 90s, it's like the losses are heartbreaking losses. It's the Patrick Ewing finger roll. It's guys who are super famous in MSG because of stuff they did against the Knicks. It's 8 points in 9 seconds. It's even the bitterness they feel towards Reggie Miller, where Reggie Miller is thought of as the Knicks killer, even though Reggie Miller had like a massive losing record against the Knicks during his career. It's like
one series win.
Yes, everything is, they feel like everything has just turned into the Knicks are going to be the punchline. The Knicks are going to be the punching bag no matter what. And especially for the 20 years before Leon Rose took over, the Knicks made it very easy for them to be the punchline and the punching bag because of how they operated. And they still sold out games. Fans were still insane. And for that team to help them back up, I think a lot of fans relate to a lot of those people. I think they relate to a lot of those players on a pretty human level. And I'm sure that's part of it. Like, I'm sure that's part of it. There are about to be so many kids named Jalen in New York. Like, I can't even imagine. I cannot even imagine.
I mean, one of your great tenets in the NBA is that it always comes from the top, like organizations, ownership, front office, coach, players, staff, all have to be aligned. And I could never imagine that James Dolan would have been the not architect, but the owner for a team like this, the greatest postseason plus minus ever. And I'm curious how you reconcile that, Amin, with, because I'm the same way. I can't believe that this happened under James Dolan's watch.
And I feel like he tried to blow it, right? Game 4, the day of Game 4, say, we're going to win tonight, we're going to win the series. And then they were down 29, and it's like, oh, he brought Trump here in 3, and everything starts to fall apart ever since then. But, I got to give credit to the front office. I got to give credit to Leon Rose and Gerson and Walt Perrin and William Wesley and all those guys. Because in order for that to happen, to have that kind of continuity, and especially building a team that was not really star-driven. When you think about, other than Cat might have been a star when they acquired him, even though he was a castaway, but acquiring Brunson, acquiring Hart, acquiring Bridges, acquiring OG Anunoby, none of those guys were stars. And oftentimes the difficult part in selling to your billionaire owner, hey, this is a good move, is, I don't know that guy. I never heard of that guy. It's just that kind of fighting against, like, just because you haven't heard of him, just because your kids don't go to school, like, oh my God, doesn't mean this isn't a good player and a good fit. And that's where the front office comes in, because I always say your leader of your basketball operations department, his number one job is not scouting. His number one job is not negotiation contracts and trades and stuff. It's not any of those things. It's managing up. And if you can't manage up, then it's very hard to do the job. I think about, you say, how is this possible? I think about David Griffin in Cleveland with Dan Gilbert, a famous meddler. I think about, to some extent, I know no one will probably say this out loud, but what Bob Myers did in Golden State. Doesn't Lacob strike you as an awfully meddlesome type of guy? Matter of fact, there's a reason why James Wiseman was the pick as opposed to anyone else in Golden State. And the stories are that's Lacob saying, no, that's the guy. So I don't think Dolan has changed at all. I think he's the same dude. But Fred, back me up on this. This is a testament to Leon and his staff, right?
I agree. And I'd take it a step further. I would say part of it is that Dolan was not as involved during this stretch. And this is not my opinion. This is just reality. He was busy building the Sphere in Vegas. And that was such a huge project.
Wow.
And such a huge passion project for him. Because he's the one who built, I mean, everyone knows the Sphere now, but that's his project. And that was such a huge passion project for him and such a huge project financially. It ended up costing over $2 billion in the M run. It went over budget, and it was a huge, huge, huge doing in order to put that together. And nothing like it had ever been built. And so he spent so much of his time and so much of his attention on the Sphere, and he wasn't quite as involved. And then once the Sphere finished, he started to poke his way into decisions a little bit more with the Knicks. And that was definitely part of it. It reminds me a little bit of like, I mean, the baseball analogy, but still a New York sports analogy, is the Yankees built their 90s dynasty when George Steinbrenner was suspended.
Yeah.
You know, he was suspended, and Gene Michael took over the team, and he was like, all right, well, that's when they drafted Jeter, and when they signed Rivera, and when they drafted Pettit, and when they started they made the Paul O'Neill trade. They Posada, they brought all these guys up, and they have this insane farm system, and they build up through, and then George comes back, and you know, they end up making the playoffs and are really good, or not on track to make the playoffs in '94 before the strike and so on and so forth. And then they have their dynasty, but it's a little bit like that. Sometimes guys get distracted. Sometimes guys' attention goes elsewhere. I think that was part of it. And I totally agree with you on the managing up. It's not just Leon managing up. Worldwide Wes, who's the number 2 to Leon, has a very good relationship with Dolan. And I think Dolan has a tremendous amount of respect for both of those guys, but has always been like Worldwide Wes has always been someone who Dolan has trusted a lot. And I would say that maybe the most important part of his job is the ability to sell Dolan on, no, this is right. This is how we're going to do things. And I'll add 2 other people in their front office who you didn't mention, who are unbelievably important, not necessarily in managing up to Dolan, but in terms of the day-to-day, because they have a weird front office where basically all of their top front office executives, if you go by rankings, none of them are the ones who are like making trades, negotiating contracts for the most part. Like, they're not doing it. It's Brock Aller and Frank Zanin are doing most of the day-to-day stuff.
Frank Zanin,
And those are the 2 guys who are doing most of the day-to-day stuff. And a lot of this maneuvering, they're one of the best teams in the league at managing the cap. One of the best strategy teams. One of the first things that they did when Leon Rose was hired, the first guy, so it was Leon Rose and Worldwide Wes got hired in 2020, and the first front office hire they make is Brock Aller, who was a cap guy in Cleveland, and they bring him over as vice president of basketball strategy with the Knicks. And the first thing that Aller suggests is like, you got to build out this department. There were like a couple people in the strategy department, and now the Knicks have one of the biggest strategy departments. People keep asking, what can you learn from the Knicks title? Like, what's going to be copied? I think if you really want to get niche, that's the thing that should get copied. These other teams should build out their strategy departments.
What's all in the strategy department other than the cap ruminations?
Cap, analytics, and like in the Knicks case, like, I mean, Aller basically acts as like the day-to-day GM. Like a lot of teams are taking this model now where it's like they have a president at the top, and then the GM runs the day-to-day stuff. And the president is a CEO and a big picture guy and all of that. And Leon is the delegator and the CEO and the big picture. And it's not like the Knicks are going to do something if Leon thinks it's the worst idea ever and whatever else. And he is the person who he puts them on their road. He's the one who sets the plan.
Sets the vision. He sets the vision. He sets the goal, and then someone else
100%. And then he hires people who he trusts, and they're the ones who execute stuff. So if it's like a Wednesday in December and they're shopping around a 13th man, that's not Leon on the phone. That's Brock Aller. That's Frank Zanin. That they tends to be those guys. If they're talking about filling out the rest of the roster with minimums, with a Landry Shem at minimum, that's a lot of that is that's Zanin, that's Aller. That's a lot. That's those guys who are really doing a lot of the nitty gritty, and they are highly responsible for the construction of this roster, and they're highly responsible for also the talent identification throughout.
I think also the big piece here, the medical side and the training staff that they got from
my God, Casey
Smith. and Heather Mao from the Dallas Mavericks.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty big piece of this puzzle too. Is the Knicks were, I mean, remember when they took over the job? It was Julius Randle's shoulder injury. Bojan Bogdanovic was hurt. OG Anunoby missed. He shouldn't have played in Game 7 against the Pacers. The hamstring, and then Jalen Brunson. I don't think can chalk it up to poor Met training staff, but he broke his hand in Game 7, and that's what Casey took over. Is all of that mess. And now they're one of the healthiest teams in the NBA over the last 2 years. And Karl Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson didn't miss a single game in the postseason. And OG Anunoby, and maybe if it's under a different regime or a different staff, maybe he doesn't come back and play the best basketball of his career after the hamstring injury earlier in this postseason. So, Fred, isn't that part of this too? Is just everything has to happen. Everything has to come together to win a championship, but it does seem like some of these stories are maybe unheralded as we're, a few days away from the championship, that they deserve some recognition.
100%, especially in a day and age where whoever wins the title, like winning a title tends to just be whoever's the healthiest by the end of the run. It wasn't quite the case this year as much as some other years, like the Spurs. Everyone the Knicks played pretty much had everybody. I mean, guys were playing banged up, but everybody plays banged up. In the playoffs, if you play, you're good. Like if you play, you're playing. But the Spurs had their guys, and Cleveland had their guys, and Philly had their guys, and Atlanta had their guys, and the Knicks still beat them. It's tremendously important on the medical side. And one thing that I will say, we were talking about how Dolan, we don't think he's really changed very much. Well, one way that he hasn't changed, and this is in a positive way, is that the thing with Dolan that was, to me, always the most positive thing. Well, the two most positive things. Number one, he's willing to spend. Nobody will ever doubt that the guy is willing to spend on his rosters. He had teams that were losing close to 60 games, and he was paying the luxury tax every year.
And also outside the roster, the part that they can't regulate, your front office, your medical, et cetera.
Right, 100%. He's like, Phil Jackson, you don't want to come? Here's $12 million. It was a bad signing, but it wasn't because he was being cheap. Lord knows it wasn't because he was being cheap. Like, he will pay. He's like, you know what? Tibbs isn't the guy. I genuinely don't believe Tibbs is the guy. Just signed him to an extension that hasn't even kicked in yet. That's $10 million a year. Don't care. Doesn't even factor into the conversation. And I criticized that decision at the time. James Dolan was right. The Knicks were right. Obviously, that was, Mike Brown did an amazing job. But the other thing that I will say that Dolan has always been big on is he's actually always been out in front of the game in terms of medical and in terms of spending on that and bringing things there. I'm not saying he's been the guy.
I'm gonna push back on always, because I transported to another time when my guy Frank Isola would always write about, in air quotes, every single time, Dr. Lisa Callahan. Because that was a dark time. I was working for the Knicks at the time, and injuries were the norm. And Frank always went back to Dr. Lisa Callahan with air quotes.
But you know what? That was like the first time that a team hired an NBA team hired a full-time doctor to run their stuff. They had a head trainer. They had this, but they didn't have like a full-time doctor on staff. That was the first time. And
they just got the wrong doctors, which is
maybe, honestly.
But they got a doctor.
I don't have an opinion on how good of a doctor Lisa Callahan was.
You can't just throw around doctor titles willy-nilly.
She was a doctor.
Right. Agreed. Right. She's like Ross Geller. She had a PhD in
like Tom
paleontology. Yeah. No, she's like Shaq. I will say Dolan led that initiative to be like, every team should have a team doctor. Like, we should have team doctors. And now it's just normal. Now, of course, you've got a team doctor. Everyone's got a team doctor. It wasn't normal then. And there are things like that where he's like, we're going to invest in this kind of stuff. He wants to invest in sports science. He wants to invest in that kind of stuff. And I think like that was definitely a Dolan initiative for many, many, many years. And you're totally right that Casey Smith is as respected in the industry as anybody else who has his job, if not the most by a wide margin.
It was shocking that Casey was even available. This is my favorite part about the NBA is like the ripple effects of decisions that go everywhere. So Casey's available. because Nico comes into Dallas and says, this guy is not one of my guys. Get him out of here. It's like, wait a second. This guy's the head trainer for Team USA basketball. He is the pinnacle of athletic training in the NBA. And because he's telling you, I wouldn't play the guy or whatever, you're having an issue with that. But because of like incompetence over here, the Knicks end up benefiting because they swoop in and get a guy who, by all reports, should never have been someone who's available to get in the first place.
It's good. That's just good front officing. Good ownership. I mean, when he popped up and the Knicks were like, we should go get that guy. It was, I think, from everything I heard, it was the most unanimous decision that a decision can be. Everyone was like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Of course we should go get that guy. He's, as respected as there is in the industry. And like you said, I mean, look, it's hard to judge anyone in the medical profession off of like results, like in such a literal way, in such a short time frame. Like just because somebody breaks their leg, it doesn't mean that the team doctor is not a really good doctor. Just because somebody doesn't break their leg, it doesn't mean that the team doctor isn't a bad doctor. Someone can just break their leg. It could just happen. They're people and it's sports. But you look at the Knicks' health record, you look at the way they managed Mitchell Robinson's minutes throughout the course of the year, and he
What happened
healthy.
with his hand? Do we know? Are you saving it for the book, Under the Bright Lights by Fred
If
Katz?
I knew, I would not save it for the book. If I knew in a reportable fashion, I would not save it for the book. I would report it, but I don't know in a reportable fashion. I've heard theories. I've heard rumors.
You know, in a non-reportable fashion then.
I wouldn't say I know in a non-reportable fashion. I said I've heard some stuff, but as a journalist, I'm like, it's not even close to where I have it in any sort of reportable way. What I can say is that it was nothing like bad. Like it wasn't like a bad thing. Like it was, it wasn't a bad thing.
It wasn't
It didn't really hurt his play all that much. He was still very effective, but
that's my
throwing
favorite
lobs
part.
To him, I mean,
if you
not the best.
If you had to rank every player in the NBA from most affected by that injury to least affected, would there be anyone, including left-handed players, who would rank lower than Mitchell Robinson?
He did miss one lob dunk where I was like, that looked like the hand. He like kind of shook off the hand after. Yeah. He like shook it off immediately and like winced like he was in pain. I was like, oh, that could have been the hand. And that was the only time where I was like, it must be the hand. I'll tell you this. I shook his hand a couple of times. Like, we'd talk at his locker before the game and I would try to be very, very gentle when I shake his hand. Cause like, dude just broke his fifth metatarsal. And so I try to be very, very careful and just like very light when we would do it. And then in game like 4, we were like talking and at the end of our convo, I was like, all right, good luck, Mitch. And I just took up my hand and I kind of forgot. And we both just like slapped hands and I made like real contact. And I realized as it was happening, I was like, oh crap. And he had no reaction whatsoever. So I was like, he must be feeling way better because he had no reaction whatsoever when we did, like none.
Did your career flash before your eyes in that moment?
What a curb moment. What a curb your enthusiasm moment for Fred Katz.
Yeah. Right? I'm just trying to be nice, professional, shaking the hand of someone I work alongside with.
Mitchell Robinson crumples to the ground in pain, and people go, "What happened?" And then they look up and, "What are you doing, Fred? What'd you do?" And I just want to say goodbye.
Yep. No, he was totally fine. He had no reaction. So I was like, okay, he must be doing a lot better because he had no reaction to that. I felt terrible. I was like, I was freaking out. I was like, oh no, I just slapped a guy in the hand with a broken hand. That's not good. You're not supposed to do that.
LinkedIn is pretty amazing at helping you grow your small business. We cannot make your email response time faster. We can help you sell, market, and hire in one place. We cannot help you find space for your 3 desk drinks. Why do you have 3? And while we can't help you find the perfect volume for your presentation video, LinkedIn can help you find the perfect audience for your business. Grow your small business on LinkedIn. Learn more at linkedin.com/smallbusiness.
This is a Bose moment. You've been there. Small talk's going nowhere, but then the Bose speaker kicks in. Music you can feel fills the room, and no more chat with Danny from accounts. Your life deserves music. Your music deserves Bose. Find your perfect product at Bose.com.
Where is Daredevil?
I'm right here. Don't miss the return of Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again.
So what's next?
I feel liberated,
We're gonna take this city back
over medicated.
in an all-new season, now streaming only on Disney+.
They're hunting us. It's time we started hunting them.
I can work with that.
This should be tons of fun.
Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again, now streaming only on Disney+.
Pace Checkout is offered by your banks and credit unions. So when you shop online at participating merchants, your cards appear in one place, ready to use and kept up to date. And the best part, your actual card number isn't shared when you check out, because boundaries are healthy, like no work emails after 6. One small step for boundaries, one big leap for checkout. Pace, it checks out. Activation required. See Pace.com to learn more. Terms and conditions apply.
Fred, I haven't talked to Amin and Maze about this, but I wanted to ask you guys, what did you make of James Dolan's speech, pregame speech or pre-postseason speech? Because we've seen lots of in cinematic rah speeches in sports before. I thought it was pretty good.
I've told this story before. Before we played the Spurs in 2010, Robert Sarver requested to speak to the team, and we're like, oh shit, here we go. And he gave an amazing speech. It's like every once in a while, the stars and the planets and moons align, and these motherfuckers just get inspiration. Because he was talking about like this guy who needed a heart transplant, and Robert used to donate a lot of money to the Arizona Heart Hospital, and they pioneered the first portable heart transplant so you can get your donor. You carried it in a backpack, and the guy was a firefighter, and they saved his life, and he had a backpack that pumped his blood for him, whatever, until he got his donor and the transplant happened. And he's just like about like the perseverance and fighting. And I was like, wow, man. I'm sitting there like, damn, Robert, because I was running the video for it. Because there was a whole clip. And then to this day, I don't remember how it transitioned, but it transitioned to, ever since I started shaving my balls, I noticed my wife was a lot more willing to go down on me. Who here shaves their balls?
No.
On everything. And it was like an impromptu straw poll. Hey, what it go? Steve, you shave your balls. Amara, you shave your balls. Like the whole room. And he went to, I'll never forget this. He went to LB. He said, Barbosa, LB, you look like you don't shave your balls. And LB was like, yes, man. All the time, man. And then he goes to Earl Clark. Earl, what about you? And Earl says, shit, I've been growing them shit since the day I was born. And everybody laughs. And I'm like, all right, that's a great exit. All right, let's stop right there. And then it was in slow motion. I see him turning and he's going towards Rob. I said, don't ask Robin. Don't ask Robin. Don't ask Robin. This is Robin Lopez before he got his anger issues under control. This is Robin Lopez destroyed the door, Robin Lopez. And I see him do this and his fingers going towards Robin. And Robin is sitting up front. And his eyes start to widen, Robert's eyes, and his big dumb smile, like Dash from fucking Zootopia. And he's just like, what about you? And Alvin Gentry deserves every last dollar on earth because I truly believe he saved Robert Sarver from being annihilated, truly annihilated. Because he jumps up, he grabs Robert physically, and he throws him out of the room, and he says, hey, give it up for Robert, everybody. What a great speech that was. And I was like, oh, my God. No one will ever know how close we came to an NBA player destroying an NBA owner. I don't know what the aftermath would have been. But I say all this to say, up until that transition, Robert had the speech, man. Like I was just like, we were all like, oh, shit, what's he going to say now? Because he's had speeches before that were awful. Just awful.
Why did he go to manscaping in the middle of a championship rah-rah speech?
No, I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. Loosen the boys up. Everybody was laughing. It felt good before game one. So, like the Dolan speech was good. And in many ways, I was like, yeah, sometimes, man, that illumination light pops up above their heads. But then also, allegedly, there are other parts that I don't know that we heard. including, hey, tell your wives they gotta take out the trash for the next few weeks and shit
That's why
like
I
that.
was locked in. I was like, when did he? How did he bring this up? And then it never. The video that made. Yeah, Fred, do you have any other reporting on this?
Yeah, no, he did request no fornicating for 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and said, that's why the significant others will get rings because they're making the sacrifice too.
Yeah.
Yep.
No fornicating for 10 weeks.
So I think there's maybe a little better editing these days than the Dolan speech.
The full speech is on YouTube.
That's exciting stuff.
Sarva's
speech never came out. That I saw.
I don't even know
the full shaved version.
The full 14-minute speech is on YouTube.
Manscaped.
Yeah, that was a Manscaped version.
Dolanscaped.
Yeah.
Yes, the full one is on YouTube, and you can see it all for yourself. I don't think I can top Amin's story, to be honest. I don't think I can top that. The Dolan speech was good. It did seem like he meant the no sex comment. It did seem he like knew he was being funny when he said it. I don't think he seemed self-aware from my perspective when he said it. But I also know that's something the player has joked about for the last 10 weeks.
Has he done speeches before?
No, not really.
Like
not
address
really.
the team.
I mean, he'll drop in every once in a while, but not really that. Not really that. Like he doesn't really come in. Like he had note cards and stuff. Like he doesn't. He's not really known for like he'll pop in and say some stuff every once in a while. Pop into the locker room, say something every once in a while. And he'll talk to people and talk to coaches and voice opinions and all that kind of stuff and have meetings with coaches and that kind of stuff. But in terms of like speech at the practice facility, like it's not like the guys were like, okay, James Dolan's coming in and going to give a speech today. Like he just popped in.
Right.
It's like, here's the speech. Came in with a video guy. Was like, that's how you know he was confident, by the way.
He delivered it quite. I mean, he was
video.
I thought it was
this
roll
thing.
it.
Video this thing. When the Knicks win the title, this is coming out on the Roommates show.
What now? Like, I liken the Knicks fans kind of like your buddy who is like the life of the party, always just a great time, then gets wifed up, and you're just not sure what the next iteration looks like because so much of his identity is that he is just kind of loose and funny and like all this anxiety of being a Knicks fan of like something bad's gonna happen. I grew up outside of New York City, so like I know all my buddies just kind of were waiting for the bad thing to happen, and it didn't happen. And so how does this change your dad? How does this change you as a New Yorker? Like, what is the identity of a Knicks fan? How is that going to impact the city? Like now that they've won?
It's very, I mean, the title that I think is the best comparison, and my podcast producer, Andrew Claudio, was the one who really put me onto this. And I think he's right, even though this one was 86 years and the Knicks are 53, but I think it's the 04 Red Sox. Like, it's like the 04 that's exactly what people asked about the Red Sox.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what people asked about the Red Sox when they won in 04. And the Knicks don't have the 3-0 comeback like against the Yankees. They got the 29.
They had the 29-point comeback. That's
right.
That's
right. And they fell down 2-1, and then they won 13 in a row, which kind of mimics just the Red Sox going down 3-0 and then winning 7 in a row to win the World Series. And there's this burden that you talk about with the Knicks, which I feel like is pretty similar. And it's 33-year. The championship drought is 33 years less than what the Red Sox had to deal with. But you almost feel like the Knicks made up for that lost time, Like I feel like if we went through and named the top 10 most tragic, depressing things that happened with the Red Sox between 1918 and 2004, and then we did the same thing with the Knicks between 1973 and 2026, I feel like the top 10 list wouldn't look like the amount of tragedy in the top 10 would probably be pretty similar. And it really did seem kind of like an overcoming demons sort of thing. In the same way how like the Red Sox overcame their demons by beating the Yankees, who had the Aaron Boone home run to beat them the year before. Like This was game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, a year after the Halliburton shot, a year after all of the Aaron Nesmith threes. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, Knicks are down 22 after they've won 7 in a row. And then they're the ones who go off and go on the run. And every single Knicks fan put it together. Like, this was like the basketball gods making up to them, like making the Halliburton play up to them. It was the same game. It was game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. And it does feel like a lot of exercising demons in this. And I don't know what the Knicks fan personality is and how it's going to change. I can tell you this. I think they'd rather have the title than the identity.
Yeah. For sure.
Also, Tom, I mean, we've seen them react to a regular season overtime win against the Celtics like they're going to win the title. So now that they've won the title, I would expect a lot of bravado for the next couple years.
Well, it reminds me of when the Red Sox won it in 2004. People forget in the same way that the Knicks forget, like the inbound play for Karl Anthony Towns where he blocked the inbounds pass just enough to throw off the play. The OG Anunoby shot wasn't a buzzer beater. They had to go back and defend Wemby at the rim, and they successfully did it by putting Karl Anthony Towns at the ball, and people will forget that. But in the same way that the Red Sox, after they beat the Yankees, they had to go and sweep the St. Louis Cardinals, and no one remembers that part of it. It's just, it felt like it was ordained, like it had to have happened that way. But there was a whole nother series after that, in the same way that the Knicks, there was another defensive stand that Karl Anthony Towns made. And I don't want that to get lost to history. As amazing as the OG shot was, I feel like there are similar elements to the Knicks run where it's like, man, but you can't forget about this, that still had to happen, right? Because at the moment, you have a 7'18" guy right at the rim, potentially, that the Knicks had to figure out how to stop that play.
Totally. 100%. It also has some Red Sox vibes too, because with the Red Sox, like, you kind of go down the list and like everyone on that team, I'm a diehard Yankee fan too, so this is painful for me.
This is tough.
But everyone on that team had a moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't just like David Ortiz was hitting walk-offs left and right. Yeah. But everyone on that team had a moment. Keith Falk.
Billy Miller,
had a moment.
Kevin Millar, Johnny Damon, Orlando Cabrera, Dougie Min, Alan Embry. You want me to keep going, or is this painful?
No, we're fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember them all, unfortunately. Veritek.
Do it for the Knicks.
They all, Orlando Cabrera.
We had a face smush. We had A-Rod getting smushed by Veritek, and then you got Jalen Brunson with... Yeah, but it was the other way around.
They all had a moment throughout the course of that playoff run, and it does really feel very similarly about this Knicks team, where it's like, this wasn't just Brunson was amazing. He's an incredible player. His Game 5 performance is, one of the greatest finals clinching performances in the history of the NBA. He was unbelievable, and he carried them that night. But they didn't win the finals because he just put them on his back and carried them all the way by himself. OG Anunoby was absolutely outrageous this entire playoff run. He shot like 49% from three in the playoffs. He shot 50 some odd % on corner threes in the playoffs. He had some of the greatest, people talk about the tip-in because the tip-in is going to go down as one of the all-time NBA plays. It's just going to go down as one of the most famous plays of all time. How about the fact that he made one of the greatest blocks in NBA history 2 seconds earlier?
Right.
And it wasn't even the best play that he made in a 10-second span in a game that he had 33 points on like outrageous, I think 15 shots, right?
Yeah.
Like outrageous shooting game. He had 7 threes in that game. Just an outrageous playoff run by him all the way through. Mikal Bridges had moments
7 of 9, I think, from 3.
Yeah, Mikal Bridges had moments where he rebounded and had incredible games and was amazing defensively in the Eastern Conference Finals and in the Philly series. And Deuce McBride had a huge game in the closeout game against Philly. And Shamet had a stretch for like a month where he didn't miss a 3. And Alvarado had the fourth quarter of Game 4 against the Spurs where he comes in and completely changes the dynamic of the game and has 8 points in that fourth quarter. And Josh Hart is just a complete and utter maniac, and Mitchell Robinson had 6 offensive rebounds in the clincher and the huge one to basically win it for him.
Jordan Clarkson had some games, including one in the finals where he had 10 points in a quarter. There's like you can legitimately go up and down the roster. Anyone who played, Huck Porty had the play where he tried to take out Wemby and then sat back down. Everyone played their part.
He had the block on Luke Cornett in Game 5.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, everyone had Huck Porty also was the MVP of the post-game celebration when they won. So that's his trophy. Huck Porty was. I've never seen anyone celebrate that hard in my entire life for anything, and it was one of the most wonderful things I've ever seen up close.
Can you give me a couple details to brush everybody up on the Huck Porty experience?
The fact that not 2 minutes after the ceremony ended on the court, he reemerged from the tunnel holding 2 40s, clinged them together.
Michelob Ultras.
Right. Said, let's get this shit started.
Yeah.
And then very much walked the walk as he talked the talk. He crashed every press conference that the Knicks had. Like Mike Brown was just doing his press conference and Huck Porty just wandered over and sat down next to him and just started hyping up Mike Brown in the middle of the press conference. At one point, he ran out of the locker room with a golden basketball under his shirt, pretending to be pregnant with the basketball, and then started dancing.
As one does.
With the basketball. When I asked him, I took a video of it. It was very funny. I tweeted it out. I didn't know if he would want me to tweet it out because I was like, he's being a little unhinged. But I mean, I thought it was hilarious. It was, it was really funny. It's just a guy who's on top of the world. But I didn't know if he would want it. So I asked him, I was like, hey, do you mind if I tweet that out? And he said to me, just make that shit go viral. And I was like, okay, I'll do my best. Clearly he's cool with me going with this. He gets MVP of the ceremony. He was hilarious. He was fantastic.
It was wild to watch that game with the Wemby flagrant hanging over all of it, and the flagrant points. Were you like preparing for just the conspiracy theories and all the stuff if the Knicks didn't win Game 5 and what your job would have looked like after that if the Spurs won Game 5?
100%. If the Spurs won Game 5, my story for the next day was going to be, I was going to do some reporting on how the league actually goes back and reviews these plays to decide if they're retroactive flagrants or not, and what the process was going to be in deciding whether or not that Wemby play was a flagrant, because that was going to be the biggest thing. And how lucky is the league that is like not even really going to be a footnote. It's just going to be like a do you remember amongst total and complete diehards and/or Knicks and Spurs fans. And that's it. And that's all it's going to be, because the league would have been in a no-win situation, because that was a textbook definition of a flagrant. And I don't love that that's a flagrant, to be honest. I think the league has gone a little too far in the landing area flagrant fouls. But that was, if the Brunson Julian Champagny play from earlier in the series was a flagrant, when Champagny left his feet behind the three-point arc, landed inside the three-point arc, and landed on Brunson's foot, and that still counts as landing area, then Brunson's starting and landing a couple inches in front is definitely landing area. And they were going to have to either, number one, give a retroactive flagrant to Wemby, and then Wemby suspended Game 6, and that's a huge thing that they don't want. Or they were going to have to not give him a flagrant after review for the second time in a series, and everyone and their mother was going to be able to say, all right, well,
that's rigged.
Yep. Yep. 100%. So they were in a no-win situation.
It's funny.
They must be so happy Knicks closed out that thing in 5.
Dude.
It's funny you talk about the landing area. It's like you don't think it's a flagrant. I understand why it's a flagrant. They're trying to legislate it out of the game. They're trying to, because that is, first of all, it might seem foreign and far-fetched now, but there was a time where dudes were doing this shit on purpose, including, as I said, when it happened to Kawhi Leonard in the conference finals with Zaza Pachulia. And the argument was that, Zaza didn't mean it. He's just a big dude. And, when he puts his foot, he doesn't know where it goes. And Greg Popovich's response was, just because he didn't mean to kill him doesn't mean, so it's not murder, so it's manslaughter. And I said, you got a lot of nerve. You guys have the jersey retired of a guy who's a serial killer. Bruce Bowen did that shit on purpose. That's why Ray Allen didn't fuck with him, right? It was because Bruce Bones, that was his shit. I stick my foot right there, so you got to worry about where my foot is as you're going up for a shot.
Yeah, I think Bruce got off easy that it's named the Zaza Pachulia rule.
It's crazy because Bruce, that was his tactic. Like, it wasn't even like he accidentally did it a lot. He did it on purpose. So
he's sliding in with spikes up. Yeah,
exactly. So you tie cop in it. So you legislate it. So how do you legislate? My thought is like, well, what if it's the same penalty, but it's not a flagrant? So shots and kept the possession, but we don't put flagrant foul points on top of it. But then I'm like, would that really stop someone from doing it? Because I feel like if there's no accrual, then I get to do this shit wantonly, and we get to decide whether this is a risk we want to take in this moment, in this juncture of the game.
Yeah, I mean, my hot take is that I think they ought to just do away with you're suspended once you hit a certain amount of flagrant points.
Oh no, you got to keep that, man.
No, I think they got to do away with it because here's my hot take. So I understand this is an unpopular opinion. I think because that rule exists, once players hit the limit, they know they can do anything.
Right. It's
not going to be called a flagrant.
Yeah.
So Wemby can just be sticking his feet under people. Draymond can be nailing nutsacks. Like, people can be doing anything they want, and it's not going to be called because they're not going to suspend. I mean, if you're like a role player, you probably can't act that way. But if you're a star, if you're a huge name, we were just talking about it. The league is going to, what we were talking about, the reason the league is in a bad position is not because it's a controversial the call. It's not because of the action. It's because of the person. And the players know that. So they can go around elbowing and punching and doing whatever they want once they hit that certain number. And it's like they have free reign. And you see players act like it every time they get close to that number. You see guys with the automatic tech suspensions, like you see guys.
It's not a deterrent. It's an accelerant is what you're arguing. Is that
yes.
You think
it totally
that it's actually going to make them stop doing the illegal thing, but they're just going to be enabled to
because they know that the league is not. You know, if the league actually disciplined everybody equally for things they did, but I mean, I would say the number one criticism to have of the league office, if you're going to make just like a general one, is that they choose when to enforce certain rules and when not to enforce certain rules, and they do it across the board for players, for owners, for coaches, for everybody. That's what they do. And if they're going to handle it that way, then just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. Like, if you're not going to give Victor Wembanyama a retroactive flagrant for just decapitating Jose Alvarado, then just get rid of the suspension rule and give him the retroactive flagrant.
I mean, do you think they would have suspended Wemby for Game 6?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know.
Not a chance.
I don't know how you get around it.
Well, they already did. What do you mean? It's pretty easy. You say you reviewed it, and then you say didn't find anything.
No, but I like the mush. The mush I thought was not as egregious as billions of whiny Knicks fans.
Unnecessary contact above the neck. Like, was there any part of that can be construed as necessary?
Yeah, I disagree. I mean,
he's trying to get him off him.
Face mush when you're 7'6", face mush a 6'2" guy.
But that's the problem.
Without
the other problem
getting
is
a freaking foul call.
The
he's
other
smiling
problem
because he
is
knows the league's not going to do anything.
I think Fred's exactly right about Wemby. I don't know that it's necessarily like across the league, all players type of thing. But I think when you are a superstar, you are daring them. Hey, I dare you.
I think the hard part for Wemby is that to get someone who is little off of you, like he's got to crouch down. He got to get on his hands and knees.
We're back here. The Pedro Martinez, Don Zimmer. I'm with you. When Don Zimmer is charging after you, what are you supposed to do?
I thought Pedro guided him gently to the ground.
You kind of like, I'm not punching him, but
yeah.
I'm just.
So I thought Wemby was
charge
trying
after
to
another adult
get him
male.
off him, but like, how low do I need to be in order to not get this
You don't
part of
punch
his?
down. It sucks. You know, when you swing your elbows and you normally would have hit somebody in the torso, you hit Naz Reid in the face. Like, it's just part of the cost of being a giant.
I think the Naz Reid one, to my eye, looked a lot more intentionally. I'm trying to hit this motherfucker in the face.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, well, yeah, but that's
There's no
like,
disagree. Yeah.
That doesn't change anything about the Alvarado play. Like, sure, I agree, but that's just because he very intentionally smashed Naz Reid in the face.
Like, should Alvarado have gotten a flagrant for trying to pick Wemby up on that one box out? Maybe.
Yes.
But when it's a little guy, you're just like, okay.
I was shocked that was not called a flagrant.
Yeah.
Right. When Alvarado like hit him in the knee on that box out, like that was not a clean.
He lifted his leg up.
Play. Like that was excessive.
He was trying to scoop and slam him. He was trying to scoop and slam him. Is what he was trying to do.
That should have been a flagrant too.
And
not a flagrant
I also,
to the TWO, a flagrant as well.
Predator.
When you're the reason why Josh Hart didn't get a flagrant on Wemby on that corner 3 where Wemby undercut him there, is he didn't fall. It's what sucks. Is that like if he had
yes, absolutely. That's the part I don't like about our league. That's the part I don't like about flagrant foul judgments in general. I'm not talking about landing space ones. Is that the flagrant foul is judged on, well, how did the offended player react? And the reality is, for all the people who cry and bitch about Shea exaggerating contact and stuff like that, it's like, because if you don't, that's what happens.
You're not going to get the call.
We just run up and down the floor.
And it works. And so Josh Hart, I remember when Wemby went under him and it was clearly he was in his landing zone, but like they didn't call the flagrant. It's because he didn't fall on the ground. He just kept, in the Josh Hart way, just kept going and running around somewhere else.
Introducing Taco Bell's new jalapeno citrus salsa. With bright citrus, real red jalapenos, guajillo chiles. Usually, you add sauce to the food, but when the sauce is this good, the food is just there to get the sauce to your mouth. That rolled quesadilla, not a rolled quesadilla anymore. Now it's a sauce shovel. Taco Bell's jalapeno citrus salsa. Get it with any item on the Cantina chicken menu while it's here. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time only. While supplies last. Contact store for availability.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You know those friends who support your preference for podcasts over music on road trips? That's the energy State Farm brings to insurance. With over 19,000 local agents, they help you find the coverage that fits your needs. So you can spend less time worrying about insurance and more time enjoying the ride. Download the State Farm app or go online at statefarm.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
On June 26th, Supergirl arrives in theaters.
Let's go.
Your powers are going to kick in now.
That's very impressive. Get ready for a movie event unlike any other.
Superman sees the good in everyone, and I see the truth.
Get your tickets now for the most fun and fresh movie of the summer.
What are you going to do? Something stupid.
Now it's a party. DC's Supergirl, only in theaters June 26th. Get tickets now. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13.
It's still so crazy that the Knicks have done it. They're champs. So Thursday, what's the Fred Katz itinerary? What are you doing?
Portable urinal to the parade?
Yeah.
I should.
Is Ray going to the parade or
no,
what's he?
He would never go to the parade.
Is he hooked now or is this just a one-time deal?
I don't know. I think he might be hooked. He is a huge sports fan. Like he's a huge Yankees fan. He's a huge baseball fan. I was raised on baseball.
He's not a Knicks fan. Wow.
But it's just like people are like, how'd you become like when I was growing up? I was a Yankees fan and I was a Jets fan and I was a Clippers fan. And people are like, how did you? Normally it's like Yankees and Giants. People are like, how did you get that? How did you get that combination? And it was because I was a Yankee fan because my dad was a Yankees fan, and the rest I kind of just chose on my own because my mom's not a sports fan and my dad didn't really follow other sports other than than baseball. I think he'll probably
Wait, but wait, hold on. Clippers. So what?
Amin knows this. We were
Mhm.
talking about this recently. I loved. You remember Kobe Bryant NBA courtside '98 on
Great game.
N64?
Great game. When Michael
I was like
Jordan
8
was
years-
the blank face because they couldn't get his rights.
Yes, he was roster guard.
Mm-hmm.
I was 8 years old and I loved playing with Eric Piatkowski in that game. And I just assumed that Eric Piatkowski was amazing and the Clippers must be amazing too. And so I became a Clippers fan. And then my first season as a Clippers fan was the strike season in 1999, and they went 9-41. And I immediately realized this was a poor decision.
I've made
There
a
was no
terrible
looking back.
mistake. I've made a terrible mistake.
Yep, but there was no looking back. So now I was a Clippers fan. And I was like, you know what? It couldn't be worse than being a Jets fan.
Which player would you want to be on duty to like follow around the parade? Is it Hakporti or is it? It's got to be Alvarado, right?
Alvarado is going to be a really good one. Unfortunately, I don't think we really get to cover it to that degree. They're like all doing their thing. And
But if you could,
if I could, Alvarado's a really good one. I think he's going to be going kind of nuts. I mean, Josh Hart is always super entertaining and he's just very, very funny. So I'm sure there will be lots of very funny Josh Hart moments. He would be up there. I do. Yeah, I think Alvarado's probably the guy. He's also like a New Yorker, like, and he's not just a New Yorker. He's not just a New Yorker. Yeah, he was at the Puerto Rican Day Parade on Sunday, the day after they win. He's just on a float. Mitchell Robinson would be on the list. Mitch told me. Mitch
likes you.
Well, he told me.
He takes a shine to you.
I don't know if he might be completely lying or completely wrong. So I don't know if this is true, but Mitch is obsessed with his trucks. He has all these F-150s that he just gets like completely customized, and they look like monster trucks and they're completely redone. And he told me that he's going to have one of his trucks in the parade. So it sounds not true, but also like that could totally be true. I know that one of his trucks was just on display at the Atlantic City Truck Meet this past weekend.
This is the reporting you can't get anywhere else.
Which was a huge deal for him. I don't know if he actually won, but he's won Best Interior twice before with 2 other trucks. So he was going for Best in. There you go. He was going for Best Interior a third time, and he did refer to me. He did say to me that if he won it a third time, he said, "That's my championship."
Well, speaking
so
of
you'd be
Mitch,
riding shotgun in Mitchell Robinson's truck. That'd be the ideal spot.
I think I might, but he doesn't let anyone into his truck. He doesn't let people be in the. He's like, it's too nice. You can't come in the truck.
It's like Tim McMahon will go fly in Rick Carlisle's plane. You're saying your dream job is to get on a joyride with Mitchell Robinson in his truck.
I think I might be in the Mitchell Robinson truck. I think that might be it. Mitch is so obsessed with his trucks that he's got like, I think his daughter's 2, maybe she's 3 now. But you know how there are those like toy, not like a Hot Wheels car. You know how there are like the cars that like really small kids can get in. They could drive around them in the back.
Yeah,
and,
like a mini
push them
car.
around.
Like a mini
mini car.
Yeah.
Mitch took his daughter's. He got like a little pickup truck one for his daughter, and he took it to his actual mechanic who does all of his stuff for him and had that car pimped out. And so she has like her own crazy
smaller version of his.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound safe.
This is your dad passing down your Yankees fandom. Like that's his version of that.
Yeah, no,
my daughter's going to have
incredible.
just souped up
hysterical.
trucks for her entire life. And that's the gift that it.
It's really too bad that Truck Robinson is already a person.
That's very true. That's very true. I mean, he loves his trucks more than anything in the world. So I think maybe I would want to be if Mitch is in his truck, I think I want to be with Mitch in his truck and just listen to that guy say whatever's on his mind because he entertains the hell out of me.
Let me ask a sobering question now. I know everyone's drunk and happy, but Mitch is going to be an unrestricted free agent. I'm just saying,
Amin.
Jose Alvarado has a player option. Clarkson, unrestricted free agent. Landry Shamet, an unrestricted free agent. All four of those guys played meaningful minutes and meaningful roles towards a championship. What do you think the future holds for all four of them?
I'm not sure. Mitch's free agency is going to be really interesting because he'll have offers, and I think he's like teams are going to offer him the mid-level, I'm sure, and the Knicks are going to have a real decision because they're pushing right up against the second apron, and I think there's a chance they're going to want to avoid the second apron, not for money reasons, just for strategic ones, because when you go over that payroll threshold, it just takes away your ability to make most types of trades and most types of signings and all that kind of stuff. That being said, I haven't had any sort of meaningful conversation with anybody who's involved in any of these decisions in any direction since the Knicks won the title. And when you win the title, you have a team that could be just as good next year. I mean,
yes,
it's not like, it's not like Jalen Brunson's 36, they got a bunch of guys. All their core guys are either in their 20s or just turned 30. And they got a bunch of guys in their prime, and they could be just as good next year. I don't see why not. And if you're going to go into the second apron, it's with a title team that you anticipate being just as good the following year. So, James Dolan will, like I said,
he'll spend
the money. That's not going to be the issue. So I think they would like to bring back Mitch, but obviously health is going to be a question there. And that's the thing that holds him back always. It's not his production. He's the best offensive rebounder in the league, and he's a really, really good defensive center. And I think they would really like to bring back Shamet. Mike Brown loves Landry Shamet. Oh my goodness, does Mike Brown love Landry Shamet? And a lot of the guys in that locker room love Landry Shamet, but he's also taken back-to-back non-guaranteed deals in order to come to the Knicks.
This is the time in his life where it's like, I got to get paid. Like that's the thing I say about all these guys. It's not about, because my buddy Elite, who you graciously recorded a video for during game one of the finals, I believe.
Yeah, some could say that video was gracious.
It was, man, I'm still hearing about it. But what I try to explain to him is because I had the same conversation with him with Hartenstein. It's like, no, Hartenstein fits in perfectly. Of course he'll take less money. You don't understand. This is it. You play your whole life to get this moment where it's like, oh, now I have the leverage and I can get paid enough money to take care of me and my family forever. I'm not taking a pay cut. And I think Hartenstein was in a similar situation where it was like, oh, maybe he'll take 14, 15. And nope, he's taking 28. That's what he's taking. And so it's the same thing with Mitch. Mitch just is coming off of 15. I believe non-taxpayer mid-level is around that. And I'm like, no, man, this is when I'm Mitch Robinson. I helped lock down the best player in the league. You give me 30 or don't talk to me. Or somewhere approaching that, definitely more than 25. And then the same thing for Shamet, like you said, playing on non-guarantees, like, oh, this is a no-brainer, man. This is my opportunity to finally get a multi-year deal. Alvarado was $4.5 million. Is this a player option? That was the money he took at the time as this scrappy undrafted guard in New Orleans, and it kind of found a home and hey, we like you and having you around. But it's no, man, I could get paid way more than this as a competent backup guard, good defensive player who can make shots. And now, again, like the Oscar winner or a Pulitzer Prize winner, has NBA champion in front of his name. And then the fourth one, I guess Clarkson would be the guy I'm interested in, because Clarkson, ironically, those other three guys are kind of who they are. They were just who they were at the right time for the right team. Clarkson's the guy who said, I fucking changed my whole life. Everyone thought I was just a gunner and that's all I do. I turned into a rebounder. I turned into a defensive player. Surely I'm worth something now.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, I think Jordan Clarkson, being around him, I think he's probably the most, and to be clear, this is not like a sources thing. This is a total guess. I think if you told me that one guy took less money to come back to the Knicks and just one of those guys did, I think it would be Clarkson. He's made his money, and we're talking with Clarkson, we're talking about the difference of it's not like someone's going to offer Clarkson $10 million a year. It's someone's going to offer him Right. Like maybe he gets the biannual or something like that. And that's the number. And we're talking about the difference between the minimum and the biannual. And it's not that big of a difference. And he's made his money. He seemed so happy this year. Like you would think that he's so beloved and respected in that locker room. He is so beloved and respected in that locker room. Like just like one of the most popular teammates I can remember covering in my career. And a lot of it was because of how he did exactly what you just said. Like he got benched in January. And then instead of being like, I'm a 6th man of the year, I play the way that I play. I'm going to play my way back into this playing the way I play. He was just like, okay, well, what can I do? What if I become completely unrecognizable to anyone who's ever watched me play before? And I'm just like in a full court press all the time, crash the offensive boards. His offensive rebound rate was the 2nd best amongst guards in the entire NBA after he re-entered the rotation. Like crazy stuff. Like he just became this really awesome, stopped taking threes really because he was like going to be a short roll guy. Like he just totally changed the way that he always made the right pass. He just totally changed his identity in the way that he played basketball. It was really like one of the more amazing transformations from a personality perspective that I've seen, and not something that I expected out of him at all, just based on the way that he played. It was remarkably unselfish. And I think by the end of it, he seemed so happy in that locker room every day, man, just being like I would walk up to him a lot and ask him like, what the heck happened after game 3 in Atlanta when they fall down 2-1 and they just come out and they look like a totally different team? They're executing at this really high level. And I would ask this to all the guys. And Clarkson gave me the same answer every time. He'd just look at me and he'd smile, say, we're good as fuck. He'd just be like, we're just good as fuck. And that's what he would say every time. And then and then sometimes he'd expand, and the expansion was always the same. He'd go down the list. He'd be like, look at this. Like, look at the guys he did the same thing that we basically just did. He'd be like, look at the guys who aren't even playing. Like, look how good those guys are. And they're not even getting time. Like, look how good this team is. Like, everyone in this locker room is so good. He seemed to enjoy, it's his first ring. He seemed to enjoy the journey to getting a ring to the degree that you would expect a guy who's been in the league. I mean, he's 34. He's been in the league a while. He seemed to really enjoy it. So if I had to guess, just based on personality, which guy would come back for a little bit less, that would probably be the guy. But Mitch, it's tough because maybe he does want, I don't know what he wants in free agency, but if he did want 20 or 25, it's like there aren't that many cap space teams out there. And you might just be stuck with mid-level offers. And if that's the case, Mitch has been on the Knicks his whole career, and he's the longest tenured guy on the team. And he's a popular teammate too, and likes being in New York, and, knows the people there. And that's something that I think would probably come into play. Shamet, the Knicks might just say like, we'll find a way. Knicks might just say, we'll find a way.
They have non-bird rights, which is like the worst rights you can have for someone. It just basically allows for a little bit of a bump over, I believe, a couple mil or whatever. But
it's like a 120% bump.
Yeah,
but they could get under the apron, and they could use use the non-taxpayer.
Now you see the plate start to spin, right? It's like, okay, all right, but if I get under the apron, that means I'm probably not paying Mitch what he wants. And we can say, hey, there's no cap space teams. We said that about Miles Turner, and he got paid. All it takes is one asshole. One asshole to be like, here it is. Here's the money. And, it's the same thing for Clarkson. I will sing to you the ballad of Tim Thomas, who did not win a ring, but Tim Thomas was a guy who was waived midseason. Tim Thomas was a guy who thought his career was over, and Tim Thomas lands at Phoenix, and he fits perfectly, and they go on an amazing run. They go to the conference finals, and afterward, Tim Thomas said, I'd be an idiot not to come back here. And we're like, oh, everyone feels good, and free agency starts at 9 p.m. Pacific time, June 30th, and at 9:01, Tim Thomas's agent, I believe is Mark Bartelstein, said, we got an offer for full mid-level. You have 15 minutes. And that was it. And it was like, well, Tim Thomas is a Clipper now. And he knew, like, oh no, I don't want to play there. Those guys aren't good. I'm not going to have this. I'm not playing with Steve Nash. But they had the money, and we didn't. And so I've seen that so many times in the league where guys are like, oh no, I love it here, da da da. And then someone says, what about, and they empty out a big bag of money, and I'm like, I'll see you guys twice a year, bye. Like that's basically how that goes. To me, I look at it, and the only one I think they have an opportunity to pay fairly enough, not fairly like as much as anyone else, but fairly enough, is Alvarado. Because he is a backup guard, and backup guards aren't going for that much more than, $6 or $7 million. Definitely not going all the way up to mid-level. So I could see Alvarado getting a nice little new deal here, a modest pay bump. And again, all the things we talked about from New York and all that stuff, and he fits in, whatever. I think Shamet for sure is gone. Let me put it this way. I think Shamet's gone if they pay Mitch. If they don't pay Mitch, then Shamet's got an opportunity because now you have a bunch of money that's opened up and some breathing room in order to take advantage of those exceptions and stuff.
Another thing you can do with Alvarado if you want to keep him, and the Knicks have done this before, they did it with Josh Hart, is you tell him, pick up the player option, we'll extend you. And then you'll delay your year, and then we can make all these financial decisions, push him back a year. And then you can figure that out, and then you pay him 4.5 next year. So that could be something that could be on the table too. They did that with Josh Hart, and the Knicks love extensions. They love
everyone loves. That's the game now. No one lets them get the free agency. That's the game now, man.
Yep.
Sam Presti fucking set the table for that one. If you let them get to free agency, you've already lost.
Knicks too, man. Like this is part of when I talk about their basketball strategy department. The Knicks were on this. Like since they took over, it was if you aren't agreeing to an extension,
you're out. But that was Sam. That was Sam 15 years ago. Right. Sam was doing that with Reggie Jackson and fucking Harden and all those guys. Yep.
Jeff Green. Yep.
Jeff Green, Kendrick Perkins. Like
this was such a bummer. I mean,
yeah,
why'd you have to do that?
I want to get you out on a high note here, Fred. Jalen Brunson statue, OG statue, or portable urinal statue outside of Madison Square Garden?
You know what the answer is.
Mitchell Robinson truck statue.
Oh.
Wow. What if the portable urinal in the truck?
The back of the truck.
He would never allow a portable urinal in that truck. That could never win best interior.
In the back?
Exactly. That's
on the
not
back?
how you win best interior,
No, that's going to
Tom.
ruin best interior.
No, it's in the back.
Best interior. Can't. You got to go for the 3P.
Not even in the trunk. Not even in the trunk.
It's a truck. It's an F-150, isn't it? Open air.
No, dude. This is not your normal F-150. He's got speakers on the outside of it.
East Coast
this is
Customs.
not
like he's selling energy drinks.
Yeah, but do any of them have portable urinals on the outside of it? The answer is no.
I don't think so.
That's custom, baby. It doesn't get any more custom than that.
He sometimes will leave the arena, and his exterior speakers that are built into the sides of the truck will be blasting music, and he'll be not listening to music inside the truck. And he won't notice it. And he won't notice it. And it'll be like 11:30 p.m. and he'll be blasting music in the exterior speakers, and he doesn't realize it. And when I asked him once about it, I was like, Mitch, why do you even have speakers on the outside? And Mitch is like, he's from Louisiana and goes, loves to fish and to hunt. And like, he's very, Southern Louisiana. And when I asked Mitch, I was like, why do you have speakers on the outside of your truck to begin with? He says, someone's never tailgated.
It's great. Fred Katz, The Athletic, New York Times. Can we also give a shout out to your book? Go pre-order Under the Bright Lights from Fred Katz, the author.
Someone said that the NBA is scripted, and the proof of it is that Fred has a book coming out right when they win the title, just like Ethan had the book come out right when Durant was playing his last season, just like Tim McMahon had a book come out right when Luka got traded.
Doesn't help with the conspiracy. It's probably the luckiest timing thing of all time that I was writing a book about this team. And then
Did Brian Windhurst and McMenamin, didn't they have that one come out right after when they won 2016? It was like they won and the book was out the next week.
Yep. Well, mine is not out the next week. I still got some time.
You gotta write the.
Amin Fred just go. Oh, hold on.
I got some time. My book is out February 16th, but you can pre-order it now under the.
So when they
Bright
trade
Lights.
for LeBron, is what you're saying?
Exactly. Under the bright lights on
Can't come anymore.
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, River. You get your books. A lot of Mitchell Robinson stories.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of Mitchell Robinson stories.
The sad part about this. Sad part about this whole thing is that you can't get LeBron anymore.
Stop. We're trying to be having.
We had a good ending.
Oh, man.
We're plugging Fred's book.
I know, that's a good ending. But LeBron's not going to be in the book.
Traditional banks are making it harder than ever to secure a small business loan. That's why thousands of business owners trust Cardiff for same-day funding. With over 2 decades of expertise, business owners keep voting Cardiff America's favorite small business lender. Apply now for up to $500,000 in same-day business funding at cardiff.co/Spotify. Again, that's cardiff.co/Spotify. Cardiff. Borrow better.
Tires matter. They're the only part of your vehicle that touches the road. Tread confidently with new tires from Tire Rack. Whether you're looking for expert recommendations or know exactly what you want, Tire Rack makes it easy. Fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and the best selection of Goodyear tires. Go to TireRack.com to see their Goodyear test results, tire ratings, and reviews, and be sure to check out all the special offers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
The right window treatments change everything. Your sleep, your privacy, the way every room looks and feels. At Blinds.com, we've spent 30 years making it surprisingly simple to get exactly what your home needs. We've covered over 25 million windows and have 50,000 5-star reviews to prove we deliver. Whether you DIY it or want a pro to handle everything from measure to install, we have you covered. Real design professionals, free samples, zero pressure. Right now, get up to 50% off with minimum purchase, plus get a free professional measure at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions apply.
Are you one of those media strategy people clicking through slides, scrolling spreadsheets? Yes? Good. This is for you. Because on Spotify, there's an audience that's different, locked in, loyal, invested. They're called fans. Fans don't just listen to music, they feel seen by it, like it belongs to them. So when your brand shows up on Spotify, that's who you're talking to. And you're right next to artists like me, Lizzo. So, are you ready to talk to fans? Spotify advertising. You're among fans.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.